Hello, thank you for joining us on Nationwide. I'm Ruth Aguele. President Bola Tinubu earlier ago addressed the joint sitting of the Judicial Parliament in St. Lucia. Details will bring you in subsequent bulletin. All right, we turn to other issues. Today is actually the International Day for Parliamentarism, and as the world commemorates this day, experts in democratic studies emphasized close collaboration between communities and legislators across board towards ensuring that the aim of electing the parliamentarians to represent and make laws for them are achieved. We had a guest earlier during Panorama, and let's see that excerpt.
And there must be collaboration and partnership. Legislators can't do it on their own alone. They can't fight the executive, while the executive cannot fight the legislators. So the best thing that we need to do in the country to protect the interests of the masses, the interests of the people, is collaboration. You understand? When we come up with a program, when we come up with strategic plans, then we just need to collaborate with the executive so that it will fly, so that it will help us to understand the problems that we are facing in the country. Because all the things that is happening to us is just within us.
All right, let's turn to other issues. The acting national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Ali Bukar Delori, has officially resumed office after the acceptance of the resignation rendered by the former national chairman of the party, Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, last week Friday. Political correspondent Abubakar Akwanga reports.
National Secretariat of the governing All Progressives Congress APC is now wearing a new look, a validation to the many questions we seek answers following the exit of its immediate past national chairman, Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje. Now the dust is finally settled as the new acting national chairman of the party, Ali Bukar Delori, presides over the 174th National Working Committee meeting soon after his declaration by the NWC as helmsman of the party in accordance with Article 14 of the party's constitution. Delori described Ganduje as a true party man who left behind many legacy imprints on the sand of time and wished him a quick recovery while pledging unwavering commitment to consolidate on the achievements of all his predecessors.
My appointment to this role is not a personal victory. As someone who has served faithfully within this party as a long-standing member of NWC, I assure you of my dedication to carry out this role with transparency, inclusiveness, and unity of purpose.
As Ali Delori holds brief of the party's apex office pending the former replacement of Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, the NWC promised to deepen consensus and internal democracy in canvassing more membership for the party ahead of 2027 and all future elections. In Abuja, Abubakar Akwanga, NTA News.
And still on politics, women of the All Progressives Congress in Delta Central Senatorial District have unanimously endorsed President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Delta State Governor Sheriff Oborevwori as sole candidates of the party for the 2027 general elections. The endorsement took place during a strategic meeting held at Ugeli Kingdom Hall, Delta State.
Tinubu and Governor Sheriff Oborevwori was moved by Josephine Odwaran and seconded by Stella Okutete. It was unanimously adopted through a voice vote presided over by former member of the House of Representatives, Evelyn Oboro.
In support of the motion that President Ahmed Bola Tinubu should be the sole candidate of the APC for the 2027 presidential election, should hereby say aye.
Convener of the meeting and former National APC women leader and Executive Director of Business Development Nexim Bank, Stella Okotete, said the women of Delta Central have resolved to follow President Tinubu and Governor Sheriff Oberoweri without looking back. She described the gathering as a significant step towards consolidating women's participation in the APC and ensuring electoral victory in 2027.
There's no vacancy in 2027. That's what the women have said. We've passed a vote of confidence on the governor and the president, and we have decided that we would work for all APC candidates that would emerge in 2027.
Also speaking, Chairman of the Delta State Civil Service Commission, Roslyn Amioku, urged women to register their children, particularly those of voting age, to boost the senatorial district's population. She noted that women constitute the majority of voters at polling unit and called for unity to advance their collective political fortunes. From Ugeli, Susan Esu, NTA News.
The presence of armed policemen in their numbers is unusual at the Wadata Plaza headquarters of the People's Democratic Party. An official of the party who spoke off camera disclosed that the police were deployed to stop the proposed NEC expanded caucus meeting of the PDP. However, some staff of the party and members of the board of trustees are being allowed to go into the premises of the secretariat without any resistance from the police. The major challenge is accessing any of the halls for the proposed parallel meetings. Some leaders of the party say they were outrightly denied all halls to converge on for the meeting. All right, earlier we saw the joint sitting where President Bola Ahmed Tinubu addressed the parliamentarians there, and we join our correspondent live now from St. Lucia, where President Bola Tinubu had that joint sitting at the parliament. Musbahu, of course, there were concerns, positive concerns, I would say, in terms of strengthening bilateral ties. And, we saw the extraordinary speeches from both sides. But you tell us, you were on ground.
All right, thank you so much, Ruth. We're live from St. Lucia, Castries particularly. And like you said, we just listened to the President of Nigeria, President Bola Tinubu, addressing the joint session of the Senate here and the House of Assembly. And both countries have indicated interest to establish a joint cooperation to formalize the relations between Nigeria and St. Lucia. And not just that, Nigeria is also establishing that relationship with the Organization of Eastern Caribbean Nations. I have two presidential heads with me here. And first, I start with the Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Mr. Bayo Nanuga. Thank you so much. We just listened to Mr. President's address in the joint session of the Parliament here. What have you got from this address or addresses from both sides?
Well, I think the two addresses by our President and the Prime Minister, Mr. Pierre, I think it opened some new relationship between Nigeria and not just St. Lucia, but also the OECS states. For a long time, the continent of Africa literally abandoned the Africans in diaspora, but I think that's changed. With OAU even now calling the Africans in diaspora the sixth African region. What Nigeria is doing today, what the President has done today, is to further broaden the bonds that bind all of us together, both Africans in diaspora and Africans on the continent. Nigeria being the largest, the most populated African country. I think from what the President said, and from the historical ties we've had before, people-to-people relationship, Lucians playing some important role in our country, I think this will mark a new beginning, something that will resonate in the future.
Thank you so much. All right, the President is right now meeting with the Senate President and Speaker, House of Assembly, behind closed doors. But now again, I have with me the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Foreign Affairs, Ademola Oshodi. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. President has expressed this readiness to partner with St. Lucia and Organization of Eastern Caribbean countries, expressing some areas of shared interest that will, and Nigeria is also promising to give some programs forward in the interest of these countries. What do you make of this?
I think it's rather exciting. It shows that the Nigerian President Bola Tinubu, is not just engaged in the big countries, the big strategic countries around the world, the likes of America, China, India, Brazil, but also has focus and attention on the smaller ones, the ones that we will look at and say they don't matter, but they do matter. We have with St. Lucia, we have cultural similarity, we have also historical history with them, historical relationship, and also it's a gateway towards the Caribbean. It's 130 billion economy in the Caribbean. So the relationship with Nigeria and St. Lucia and also the East African Caribbean states is vital. It's vital for our access into the Caribbean regarding our trade, cultural, and even our access, even with the United Nations. Nigeria can ensure that we have partnership and attention from the Caribbean countries if we seek support for international opportunities. For instance, if we want to head United Nations or areas in international cooperation. So the support of the Caribbean countries is vital. And we ensure that Nigeria's president here not just brings in the delegation that with our Minister of Environment, Minister of Culture, but also ensures that we have this diplomatic relationship established for the betterment of both countries. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ademola Oshodi. And now, President Bola Tinubu has started by indicating interest to grant a visa waiver to citizens of St. Lucia and members of Eastern Caribbean countries who are having diplomatic passports. And again, Nigeria is also going to start a full scholarship for students from these countries. Visa.
Okay, Musbahu, then we have there from St. Lucia, expressing concerns, the aspects of strengthening bilateral ties between St. Lucia and Nigeria. But just in case you missed that remarkable speech by the president during this joint sitting there, let's have that excerpt.
Encourage more frequent visits between our peoples, allowing them to experience firsthand the unique cultural attractions and the historic sites that define our identities. In a concrete step towards this goal, Nigeria is open to exploring a visa waiver arrangement for holders of diplomatic and official passports from OECS member states traveling to Nigeria. I respectfully urge a reciprocal gesture to enable smoother movement of officials and foster closer institutional cooperation. Furthermore, Nigeria is ready to extend the services of Nigeria Technical Aid Corps to OECS countries.
All right, there you have it. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu there when he addressed the joint sitting there at Sandals Grand there in St. Lucia, expressing Nigeria's commitment and strengthening bilateral ties socially, economically, and of course culturally. Let's bring our attention back home. We're getting to Lagos now, where Awal Jibo is standing by to tell us what he has from his end. Awal. Home, we're getting.
Thank you for joining us in Lagos. To sustain the onslaught against smuggling and other acts of economic sabotage Comptroller Federal Operations Unit Zone A of the Nigerian Customs, Muhammad Shuaibu, and the Commissioner of Police in charge of Lagos, Jimoh Moshood, have agreed to deepen synergy and share intelligence to guarantee the safety and economic progress of the state. Joel Popola reports that this is a thrust of a courtesy visit by the Customs Force.
Since he assumed duty as the Controller Federal Operations Unit Zone A, Muhammad Shuaibu has made it clear that interagency collaboration and intelligence-based operation is a major tactical approach to tackling economic saboteurs. The police, which is in charge of internal security, is one of the major security agencies that can help the customs achieve its objectives in view of its spread and intelligence networks, and this the custom boss says he hopes to take advantage of and expand the areas of collaboration.
Whatever we do as internal investigation that bordering criminality outside customs operation, we still have to come to the conventional police to tap and then continue with the process of investigation. Whatever we're having from you, we will still be asking for more, because I know we'll be enjoying that synergy and that collaboration even before my arrival as the controller here at Federal Operation.
The Commissioner of Police Olorundare Jimoh Moshood assured that the command will continue to synergize with the customs as the objectives of both agencies are similar, hence the need to continue to share intelligence and bridge communication gap.
No, we are perfectly on the same page. If there are need to compare notes in some certain area, we sit together and compare the notes and move forward in the interest of the same country that we serve, which is Nigeria. So he sent a message to our officers and men. He equally sent a message to who will be criminals that, look, there's a perfect working relationship between the Nigerian Police Force and the Nigerian Customs Service.
One key aspect the cooperation will also focus on is capacity building in the areas where the police have comparative advantage. In Lagos, Joel Popola, NTA News.
We shift attention to the environment. The tropics moist in a region of the equator that has 40% of the world's population is an ecosystem that is home to varied species of living things. But tropical agrarian forest that is essential for feeding the world's growing population must be protected from the growing threat of climate change and deforestation. This is the view of environmentalists as the world marks this year's World Tropics Day. Larry Belay tells us more.
The tropics account for 40% of Earth's land mass and host approximately 80% of the world's biodiversity, as well as over 95% of the world's corals and mangroves, with studies suggesting half of the world's population will call the tropics home by 2050.
Vital and extremely important part of the Earth's miraculous ecosystems, for they sequester carbon dioxide, which helps to ameliorate global warming that is causing.
Tropical region faces several challenges, such as climate change, deforestation, logging, and urbanization. And these challenges can be mitigated by reducing human actions that aggravate its negative impacts.
As frontline communities, it's very key at this point in time, because except we jointly preserve and protect all those nature-provided services that protects mankind and our environment, we will be lost in our quest to make Mother Earth and Mother Nature happy.
Environmentalists stated further that Nigerians must become guardians of the tropical region with a lifelong goal of preserving the nation's tropical forest for the survival of generations to come. In Lagos, Larry Belay, NTA News.
That's our contribution from Lagos. Nationwide, we'll continue with Larry in Ibadan after this break. Don't go away.
Nationwide on the network service of the NTA, and welcome to Ibadan. The Nigerian Police Force says it has developed an improved strategy with collaborative efforts to safeguard schools across the country. The Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetukun, revealed these in a message to stakeholders Forum on a Safe School Program in Osun State held in Osogbo. Kayode Oladusu reports.
In his message at the program on security of schools in Osun State and other parts of the country, the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, seeks the attention of relevant stakeholders to participate and contribute meaningfully to the critical discourse on school security and community partnership in the state and the country at large.
Our schools are pivotal to national development. Their security is paramount and is of collective responsibility to shield them from potential threats.
We're already deploying drones for intelligence gathering and also for actual response to security threats around schools.
Osun State government applauded the Nigerian police initiative, emphasized the importance of security to enhance safety of schools and host communities.
The Osun State government stands firm and ready to support the implementation of safety initiatives that protect our schools and host communities across the state.
The forum provided an avenue to showcase simulation of rescue operations during a school attack through deployment of human and material assets by the Nigerian police. In Osogbo, Kayode Oladusu, NTA News.
There seems to be a sigh of relief for patients and medical personnel in Oyo State as the solar-powered oxygen plant donated to Jericho Specialty Hospital, Ibadan, is providing consistent and adequate supply of oxygen to the hospital, essential for patients with respiratory issues, post-surgical patients, and those in intensive care. Rofia Animashaun Badmus tells us more.
Commissioner for Health and her team applauded the support of IHS and UNICEF in promoting and showcasing a revolutionary approach to sustainable health care, adding that the oxygen plant is accessible to public and private health sectors.
We've created awareness to say that we have pressurized adoption of oxygen plants in the state that can serve millions of people, both public and private health sectors. And people have been coming, even at subsidized rates, to get oxygen from our plants. Even if they come and they don't have cylinders, we give them our cylinders to go away and they return it later.
The team later visited the operational center of the oxygen plant to site different machines used in producing solar-powered oxygen.
It is one of our commitments to empower people and communities where we operate.
The solar-powered oxygen plant in Oyo State is the 9th donated across the state in Nigeria. In Ibadan, Rofia Animashaun Badmus, NTA News.
And those are the trending reports from Ibadan this hour. Nationwide continues with Ruth in our Abuja studios.
Very much, Larry. And still staying in Ibadan, recently the Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde renamed the Polytechnic Ibadan to Omololu Olunloyo, a polytechnic. Now, the move, the governor says, is to honor and immortalize the late former governor of Oyo State. Ayomiku Ajibola in this report takes a look at the reactions that follows the renaming of the Citadel of Learning.
That institution will now be named Omololu Olunloyo Polytechnic.
Announcing the renaming of the Polytechnic Ibadan to Omololu Olunloyo, Governor Seyi Makinde stated that it is a step to remember the late former governor of the state, who also was a pioneer rector of the institution, popularly called VOSO. Dr. Olunloyo was a distinguished Nigerian figure known for his outstanding academic achievements, earned his PhD in applied mathematics and number theory from St. Andrew University in Scotland at the age of 25. He completed his PhD in 2 years. Meanwhile, since the announcement by the state governor, the action had generated mixed reactions among both the present and old students of the institution.
Ogun State University was also changed from Ogun State University to Olabisi Onabanjo University.
Not a bad idea if such an individual is that immortalized, knowing that, yes, when the school was nothing, when it started from the scratch, these are the kind of people that made sacrifice.
Dr. Victor Omololu Olunloyo died on April 6, 2025, age 89. In Ibadan,
Ayomiku Ajibola, NTA News.
So let's join Ayomiku there in Ibadan to tell us why the mixed reactions. We join him live now. Ayomiku, for a man who has contributed a lot, pioneer lecturer, and has done his own beat going by history, why are we having this mixed reactions from residents and the students?
Well, I don't really know, but as part of the effort of the governor to immortalize the late former governor of the old Oyo State, Dr. Victor Molulu Ololoyo, the governor did announce that the Polytechnic Ibadan be named after him. And so reaction continued to trace the announcement of His Excellency both within and outside the institution that was established in August 1970. Now, with me to talk more, to shed more light on this, is the Special Advisor Media to His Excellency, Dr. Suleiman Olarewaju. Sir, you've seen so many reactions and everything. First, why the initiative by the governor to rename the institution, and what is the reaction to what people are saying outside?
I'll start with the second question. My reaction is that this is democracy. People have a right to respond to whatever the government does, so it's within their rights. But the question to ask is, what kind of person was Omololu Ololoyo? This was somebody who at 27 started serving his fatherland. He became a commissioner at the age of 27. He embodied excellence. He embodied everything that Oyo State values. He embodied the best of our state. So the governor, by naming that institution after him, is trying to give a model to our young people. This is somebody that every young person should aspire to be like. Somebody who very early in life started contributing to the development of his state and his country. And he didn't stop until he breathed his last. And that is the epitome of astuciousness, the epitome of patriotism, the epitome of everything that is good. So instead of complaining about what the governor has done, I think what our young friends should be doing is looking at why. Why should his institution be named after this person? If they understand the kind of person Ololoyo was, what he represented, I think they will clap and appreciate the governor for what he has done, because it's showing them a model. If every one of them patterns their life after this man, they will end up becoming great.
Thank you very much, sir. Well, Ruth, it's all about giving honor to whom honor is due to here in Oyo State. And so from us here, it's back to you in Abuja.
Ayomiku, and I'm sure the focus should be on the essence of learning. The students should not be distracted with naming or renaming. Thank you, Ayomiku. All right, let's look at judiciary issues. The federal government has arraigned Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan before the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja on 6-count charge bordering on harmful imputations and alleged cybercrime against the Senate President Godswill Akpabio and former Governor of Kogi State Yahaya Bello. In a petition to the IGP, the Senate President complained about the damages done to his reputation by suspended Senator Akpoti-Uduaghan on the accusation that the Senate President planned to eliminate her in Kogi State. Following her not guilty plea, the Director of Public Prosecution of the Federation, Mohammed Abubakar, urged the court to fix a date for trial. But her counsel, Roland Otaru SAN, moved a bail application on the grounds that the suspended senator is not a flight risk and will not interfere with the investigation. Justice Umar granted the suspended senator bail on self-recognition and adjourned the case to 22nd of September for commencement of trial. The Nigeria Police Trust Fund has continued its drive to strengthen policing infrastructure across the country with the inauguration of another smart divisional police station in Kogi State. Let's hear from our security correspondent, Francis Pham.
For years, the people of Ekiriade have yearned for improved security infrastructure. That long-awaited dream has now become reality as the Nigeria Police Trust Fund delivers a fully equipped smart divisional police station, the first of its kind in the state.
Commissioning here in Ijumo is more than the opening of a building. It is a bold statement of renewed commitment to justice, security, and responsive government.
The state-of-the-art Smart Divisional Police Station is designed to enhance police efficiency and community safety.
This is a very strategic value to Kogi State because it will improve response times, deepen community engagements, and serve as a deterrent to criminal activities in this region.
The Commissioner of Police, Kogi State, ensure that the donated smart police station is put to good use.
Mr. President has shown clearly that there will be no hiding place for bandits, terrorists.
The smart stations are equipped with modern technology, improved detention facilities, administrative blocks, and sustainable power solutions geared towards smarter, more responsive policing. Francis from NTA News.
The governor of Taraba State, Abuja, has directed hunters and vigilante groups in the state to register and be streamlined under the Taraba Marshal Security Outfit to ensure proper coordination and effectiveness in providing security to the state. The governor stated this while speaking at an expanded security committee meeting held in Jalingo. Godwin Enalego reports.
The governor of the state, Abuja, attached to security matters, said each local government area of the state shall set up local security desks, including traditional and religious leaders. He said a joint intelligence network will be set up for intelligent coordination across the 16 local government areas.
We need to enforce laws against illegal mining, logging, and fishing. There's need also for us at this time to empower faith-based and traditional institutions to be able to embark on maybe a monthly peace and security forums at the world and local level to be able to keep our people well informed.
There were goodwill messages from the former governor of the state, Reverend Joli Nyame, former deputy governor Alhaji Armayao Dauda, Akuka Ishaku Adali, among others. A communique was issued at the end of the meeting in Jalingo. Godwin Inalegu, NTA News.
All right, we'll head into Kaduna now to join Mohammed Umar Ajengi for our next set of reports. Mohammed.
Good to see you, Ruth, and welcome to Kaduna. The Emir of Zazzau, Ahmad Nuhu Bamali, has asked community leaders and politicians to come up with a lasting solution of the incessant killings of innocent citizens in all parts of the country. The Emir of Zazzau was speaking when he received a delegation from Plateau State who were at his palace to sympathize with him over the incident that happened at Mangu local government area of Plateau State. Lord Salau Inwa has the details.
Led by the Emir of Wasi, Sambu Haruna Muhammad, the delegation comprised of Attorney General of Plateau State, Philemon Daffy, traditional rulers, executive chairman of Wasi, Mangu, and Gonfal local governments. They were at Zazzau Emirates to commiserate with the Emir and community of the victims, as well as their family, over the unfortunate incident that claimed the lives of 12 people on their way to George from Basawa area under Zazzau Emirates. Emir of Zazzau Malam Ahmad Nuhu Bamali says every ethnic group must be respected and religion for peace to reign, hoping for sustenance of peace between Zazzau and Jos Plateau State. Emir of Wasi Samba Haruna Muhammad confirmed that 22 suspects are in police custody, calling on the families of the victims and Emirates to take solace.
Send our condolences and our sympathy for those who lost their lives and for those who are in the hospital. We are coming back as a committee again to sit down to see how we can do the needful.
The delegation also meets the families of the victims, representatives of their local government, which are Kudan and Sabongari, and their district heads. From Zaria, Lawal Sallau Inwa, NTA News.
As part of activities to mark the 2025 Widows Day, more than 100 widows in Jaba local government area of Kaduna State have benefited from cash donation and free medical services by the Caleb Aladi Foundation. The gesture, which is first of its kind in the area, had widows from both the Christian and Muslim communities as beneficiaries. Lois Apollo has the details.
Speaking during the ceremony, founder and chief executive officer of the foundation, Captain Caleb Aladi, noted that the gesture is aimed at showing the widows that they are an important part of the society who must be cared for. He emphasized that widows will be given priority in the foundation's upcoming skill acquisition center, set to be commissioned soon, and the training will be entirely free for them. He added that an opportunity has also been created for them to express their needs and set their priorities.
You know, widows have been passing through a lot. A lot of them have been subjected to trauma since their husband passed away. A lot of them their equipment has been seized, houses have been seized. But we find it today a good day to be able to celebrate them, to bring them together for them to have a sense of belonging. So I believe widows are special. They are special in the sense that they are the engine of, you look at the number we have here, they are more like the engine of the economy of this community. So I think there's a need for us to celebrate them, to celebrate their...
Some of the beneficiaries expressed gratitude for the foundation's love towards them, which they said is uplifting.
We are very, very grateful with what Caleb Danladi Foundation is doing unto us in this community. We are saying thank you.
Free medical checkups and consultation were conducted and cash donations given to all the widows gathered. Lois Apollo, NTA News.
And as our contributions from this end nationwide continues in our Makuri Network Center after this break. Don't go away.
You could stay. This is Makudi. I'm Charles Haba. Our first story is on military-civilian relationship, where the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, has stressed the need for the traditional institution in Benue State to remain committed to peace-building efforts. Blessing Omeche Ebute reports that the defense chief emphasized this when he held a meeting with the Benue State Traditional Council and elders at the Government House, Makudi.
Following the June 13th attack on Yelwata community, Guma local government area of Benue State, various engagements with relevant key players have been ongoing to find lasting solution to the persistent attacks. The meeting convened at the instance of the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, is to fashion out strategies and create better synergy with the traditional institution in Benue State.
I feel when we sit down and talk sincerely, bringing out all that is affecting us, because it's only when we tell ourselves the plain truth, we'll be able to find out what the situation is and probably be able to bring out the solution. I want to assure you of our commitment. I want you to take me and my team as your sons that are committed in ensuring that there is peace in Benue.
The meeting went into closed door for deliberations. Thereafter, the Chief of Defense Staff briefed journalists on the outcome of the meeting.
That we're working together with the communities to ensure that there is peace, because the armed forces, the security forces cannot be able to do this alone. We need the communities to be on our side.
The Totif, His Royal Majesty Professor James Otese Ayate, and the Ochidama, His Royal Majesty John Elaigu Odogbo, believed that the engagement will go a long way in addressing the security challenges in the state.
The sense is coming. After the first meeting, we have seen a lot of changes, positive changes. So anybody in our domain that is involved in criminal activities, the security agencies should deal with that person.
If you want to come to our land, do the proper thing, but we will profiling you, identify where you are coming from, and how long are you going to stay here. And that is what we are talking about. And we stand by what we said.
The meeting had in attendance operational commanders from the Defense Headquarters, top government functionaries, and other key players. In Makudi, Blessing Omeche Ebute, NTA News.
And as we talk security proper, the popular saying that the Nigerian army is ready always played out when the 4 Special Forces Command rounded off a week-long competition to make the soldiers combat ready. Special guests of honor at the event, represented by the commander, 401 Special Forces Brigade Colonel Kolawole Oyebanji Bukoye lauded the display of gallantry by the participants. The event took place at the obstacle ground of the 401 Forces Command Brigade Makudi. Here are the details.
Time of war, obstacles abound in the air, on the land, and in the sea. These obstacles must be successfully crossed to effectively combat enemies and emerging security challenges. This is why all commands and units under the 4 Special Forces Command have engaged in a week-long rigorous combatant competition to cross the T's and dot the I's in areas of global war tactics and techniques to subdue opponents. Weapon handling, drilling, combat swimming, obstacle crossing, physical fitness, and parade featured in the exercise. Chief Judge of the competition, Colonel Gideon Oladikbukbo, who pointed out areas that needed improvement, announced individuals and brigades that excelled, with awards presented to them.
167/197 Special Forces battalions clinched the first position. 401 Special Forces Brigade was second, and 4 Special Forces Command Garrison came third.
Special guest of honor of the occasion, Colonel Kolawole Oyebanji Bukoye, appreciated the Chief of Army Staff for his disposition to training and retraining of the ranks and file of the Army for battle readiness.
Purposeful training, which is the bedrock of military professionalism, was the catalyst to what we have witnessed during the competition. With this, let me remind all of us that we must continue to train ourselves so that we can develop the required capabilities in our troops to handle every situation and challenge thrown at them by the security environment.
This is the 2025 edition of the competition. Charles Abba, NTA News.
And that's the size of our contribution for now. Ruth, is back to you.
Thank you very much, Charles. The Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority has grounded Rano Aircraft 5NBZY due to an engine failure incident. The incident, which occurred Monday 30th June, caused disruptions for passengers, particularly those scheduled to depart from Sokoto. The authority's spokesman, Michael Achimugu, says the aircraft experienced a malfunction on engine 1, resulting in smoke in the cabin and flight deck. Fortunately, the aircraft landed safely without any casualty after safety protocols were initiated. Another Rano aircraft, 5NBYZ, is also grounded, with engineers working on it. The director stated that the authority will release further updates once investigations are concluded. And on health, the National Health Insurance Authority has sanctioned 49 Arin healthcare facilities and 47 health maintenance organizations in 2024 in accordance with its operational guidelines. In a statement by the spokesman, Emmanuel Ononokono, the action followed investigations into complaints received from patients enrolled, where key issues recorded in the complaints against them include unavailability of medicines, denial of services, out-of-pocket payment for covered services, and non-provision of payment narrations. All right, let's do sports update. That's next.
The Nigerian women's beach volleyball team has secured a spot in the 2025 World Championship scheduled for November in Adelaide, Australia. Esther Mba and Pamela Bauer claimed third place by defeating Egypt 2-1 at the recently concluded CAVB Continental Championship in Martil, Morocco. Head coach Kayoda Jilore praised the players for their outstanding performance during the tournament. Meanwhile, the organizers of the African Warriors Fighting Championship have pledged to build on their achievement from the 2025 edition of the Dambe event. aiming to gain global recognition for the sport as fighters competed for honors and prize money at the World Dambe Series, which took place at the Velodrome of the Moshood Abiola National Stadium in Abuja on Saturday. Maxwell Kalu, the founder of the championship, stated that efforts will be intensified following the conclusion of this series in preparation for next edition.
We're working with grassroots communities to build this sport, to take it to the next level. And ultimately, we see this being a global export, a Nigerian global export.
Elsewhere, the Confederation of African Football, CAF, is set to unveil a new trophy on Wednesday ahead of this year's Women Africa Cup of Nations, WAFCON, which will be held from July 5 to 26 in Morocco. The host nation, Morocco, will compete in Group A alongside Zambia, Senegal, and the Democratic Republic of Congo, while the 11-time champions, Nigeria, will face Botswana, Tunisia, and Algeria. And lastly, Bayern Munich will face Paris Saint-Germain in a mouth-watering Club World Cup quarter-final after defeating Flamengo. Hurricanes scored twice, leading Bayern Munich to a 4-2 victory over Flamengo, securing their place in the next round, and Inter Milan will face Fluminense tonight, marking the first ever encounter between Brazilian and Italian teams in FIFA's Premier Tournament, as both teams advance from the group stage. For Sports Update, Bright Ebuchu, NTA News.
And that ends Nationwide. Thank you for your time. I'm Ruth Aguele. Good evening.